Welcome to our report to you, the citizens, about the feedback that you gave us during the 2021 Citizen Summit and Community Survey this year. This is the first time we're doing this in a video format. We thought we'd try something new this year and kind of wrap up all of the feedback that our citizens gave us this year into one quick video that it'd be easy for everyone to watch because everybody gave up so much of their time. All our citizens gave up a lot of their time this year to give us feedback to help shape our strategic plan. And I'm Sarah Prohaska, the Communications Director here at the City of Port St. Lucie, and joining me today is Kate Parmelee, the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Innovation for the city, and Kate leads our strategic plan and is our partner on the Citizen Summit and the Community Survey, which are our two tools that we use to gather citizen feedback, scientific citizen feedback. And then in turn, we take that feedback and it shapes our, we give it to our council members and it helps them revise our strategic plan every year. So thank you, Kate, for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Sarah.
We've been doing the Citizen Summit and Community Survey for several years now, but we've never really wrapped it up into a video show, so we thought we'd try something new this year. So thank you for joining us.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really excited about this because I think it is our strategic plan begins with our residents, and so they are a huge. They start it all. So I think to be able to for someone who's maybe attended a summit and wondered, I filled out a survey. I wonder what they did with all of that, and this we kind of can, I think, easily wrap it up and show them kind of what we're doing next, because it's really exciting to see how our residents play a role in the future of their city.
Yeah, and we only have a short, we don't want to take up too much time, so we're going to try to just hit the highlights, but if citizens go to our website, the full survey, I mean, if you really want to dive deep into the survey results, it's on our website, and we did a really great written report about the feedback that we got from our Citizen Summit events this year. So just to kind of get us started, tell us about the survey and the summit, for people who might not know what we're talking about.
Sure, absolutely. Well, our city council is incredibly committed to resident feedback and shaping our priorities and making sure that we're listening to our residents, giving them opportunities to provide feedback. And so we created a few different options to get that feedback. Beginning since 2018, we've done the survey every year, and we partner with the National Research Center to do a scientifically valid survey of our residents. They give us, it's mailed to a random sample of our residents. That way it's, again, scientifically valid. And we also open up an online survey to anyone in Port St. Lucie that wants to take the survey, and we also compare those results to kind of see. It's been always interesting.
It's always interesting because it's usually very similar, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a good validation tool to make sure that it's correct. And then so in addition to that, then we ask some more general, broad feedback rather than A, B, and C kind of questions at our Citizen Summit, where people can really learn more about the strategic plan and give the feedback at the same time. So between those two feedback opportunities, we really can take that feedback, give it to the council in advance of their strategic planning session every year, and they analyze the gaps that we see, incorporate resident feedback, and then we go from there.
Okay, so we're talking about the strategic plan, so just to get us going. What is our strategic plan, and we'll go through the 7 goals, so you don't need to list them all right now, but just what is the strategic plan and why is it important?
Absolutely. Well, our strategic plan really guides everything that the City Council focuses on and the staff focuses on. It gives direction and prioritization to, there's so many things you can do in a city. So determining what's most important is really helpful. So it really is our prioritization system, and it also guides how we budget. So all of the priorities in the strategic plan get integrated into our budget process. So when the City Council says we need to focus on building a police training facility, then that gets translated into our capital improvement plan and our budget. Money gets allocated, things get built. But it all starts with a strategic plan.
Yeah, and we have a city now where everyone knows we're growing. I'm sure when the census figures come out, we'll be over 200,000. We know that for sure. And it's hard to capture every single person, what every single person wants, but every single person really does have an opportunity to give feedback about this plan if they want through our online survey, if you're not selected for the scientific, or by coming to our Citizen Summit events. And usually our Citizen Summit event is really a fun day in the city of Port St. Lucie. It's usually in February, and we gather all of our project managers for the strategic plan goal initiatives, the major ones, and the citizens have a chance to ask questions and rank the projects and say how they want money allocated, and it really does get compiled into a report and given to council. And this year, because of COVID, we were not able to do a big in-person event as we have done in past years. Hopefully next year we'll be back to that. So we did a virtual summit, and we gathered a lot of great feedback through surveys online during that event. And then we did 3 pop-up events. One was at Winter Lakes Park. It was a walking trail, right, where people could give feedback at each station. It was really fun, and we might look to incorporating that idea again next year because people loved it. And then a couple other pop-up events that we had at other pre-planned events that we had at the city this year. One was our Hazardous Household Waste Collection Day, which was a really fun way to collect information. So
it was, and I know the prior year we had our, just a few weeks before the world shut down, we had our Citizen Summit. Hundreds of people in a small kind of space. So we had to reimagine it, but I think what we saw is even greater participation, and so we were so happy to see that trend continued with resident feedback being involved in every step of the process. Again, and we got some great feedback, and we reached out to different areas of the city, and people came to the event that had never come before, which was great. That is true,
and so people were not denied the chance to give they still had they had more opportunities actually this year, even amidst the pandemic. So let's get down to it. So you have studied all of that. You and your staff have, Sabrina, who we met at the virtual summit, has really analyzed all of the feedback. You've analyzed the survey results and the feedback we got at the summit. So let's kind of go through these goal by goal.
Sure, absolutely.
If you don't mind. So just to give, we're just going to hit the highlights again. But if people want more, this is all on our website.
Absolutely, and so our residents, as you know, just they play that role. So we had some broad feedback from the community survey, just excellent marks. The quality of life continues to improve. We did an initial survey in 2009, and then we started up again annually in 2018. And we just saw tremendous gains over the past several years of just our residents are happy, and but they're giving us great feedback about how we can continue to become an even better place to live. So that's what's been great. We did identify some gaps as well. So I'm going to talk about some of that in each of the goals. Goal by goal. And as you mentioned, our strategic plan guides everything we do. We have 7 goals in our strategic plan. Our first goal is to be a safe, clean, and beautiful city. And that, of course, involves public safety as well as our beautification and landscaping. Just a quick stat from our National Community Survey, 82% of residents rated the overall safety in the city positively. 97% of residents rated the overall feeling of safety as essential or very important for us to focus on the next 2 years. We are the safest large city in the state of Florida. Residents see that as a key priority that we want to stay focused on, continue on. So that definitely is a key priority, and that we want to be a beautiful city. So some of the other, so how we designed the projects this year, the City Council did based on that feedback, is they're going to continue to invest in implementing District 5. That's our new policing district in Western Port St. Lucie. You mentioned the growth of the city.
All of that growth out there,
Absolutely. So to be able to keep up that growth and maintain our high level of excellence in our police department, we are expanding our policing districts. We're focusing on traffic, bicycle, and pedestrian safety, expanding our traffic unit. That continues to be an area of feedback in the citizen survey and the Citizen Summit. So that's continuing this year. We're also investing in a police training facility to continue to maintain our high level of training and make sure that we have that focus on public safety. As well as body-worn cameras. There's a pilot trial in practice, and that's also included in this year's strategic plan.
That's a very big deal to some people.
Absolutely. Some of the other feedback we received from the residents were that they'd like to see more landscaping, cleanups, beautification, and so we do that in a number of ways. We're focusing a lot on gateways in the strategic plan. So US Highway 1, we're focused on, there's a beautification project that's starting this year that will beautify US Highway 1 near the city, the events, Mid-Florida Event Center. There's a Port St. Lucie Boulevard beautification plan that will be looked at this year, and how to continue to improve that key corridor. St. James Boulevard beautification is being explored and identified as well. That's a county road, but we're partnering with the county to see what we can do. And identifying ways to discuss that key corridor. And Keep Port St. Lucie Beautiful beautification plan. So we have a great, if you haven't volunteered through Keep Port St. Lucie Beautiful, we'd love to have you one of our cleanup days. We've got great little neighborhood groups, etc. So now we're looking council district by council district to do at least one beautification project per year in those council districts. So that's prioritized every year.
Goal 2.
Goal 2. Our next goal in the strategic plan is vibrant neighborhoods. So they really want to create neighborhoods that are connected. Port St. Lucie's history created neighborhoods that did not have a name.
Very disconnected, sprawled out. We've done a lot of work on this goal in the past year, and I know people notice the neighborhood signs, the neighborhood names. This is all because of this goal and the strategic plan for the past few years. Our neighborhood improvement and community engagement NICE program all came out of this goal.
Absolutely. So that's continuing to be a focus of the council. So, you know, we heard that residents are really happy with their neighborhoods. They feel safe there. There's a high satisfaction rate, but we want to continue to create that connection feeling. And we did get some feedback at the Citizen Summit, you know, about our NICE. We hold annual NICE meetings for the neighborhoods. A lot of people still don't know about those meetings. And, you know, they're great places to go to get information about programs of the city, you know, crime prevention, finding out ways to make your neighborhood even stronger. And so we just got feedback that they continue to want to hear more about those meetings, and so we're wanting to find out ways to get them connected. So that's something we heard from the Citizen Summit. We also heard, and this is coming up sometimes at council meetings as well, concerns about our city was platted, and we have all these lots that were, you know, they're giving to the residents that have the right to build their homes, and as the city grows and Port St. Lucie continues to be such a desirable place to live, people are seeing less vacant lots in their neighborhood, or those vacant lots that were a great little kind of neighborhood green space were always owned by someone, but they're being built on now.
Now people want to take advantage and build, and they're disappearing.
So that's definitely a concern that's coming up in the data from residents. So we are looking at that very holistically, and I'll show you in our plan this year a neighborhood preservation. Oops, sorry about that. So we are continuing a neighborhood parks and preserve development program. So what that means is we're looking holistically throughout the city and identifying where are the areas where we may need to find some more open space. Maybe there isn't a park in that area, or and we're trying to identify, given the lack of a lot of available land, are there ways we can layer? Maybe there's a stormwater project that we can add some amenities, add some benches.
And a little library, that sort of thing.
We have formed a team at the city called a High Performance Public Spaces team, and we're trying to find ways to maximize our public spaces to create better benefits for residents, and multiple benefits at the same time. So we're looking at that very strategically, because of course you cannot you know, we don't acquire every lot. But
and these lots are owned by people, so they would be requiring the city to purchase them. So there's a lot more that goes into it that people...
lot more.
It's very complicated, but
it is. So we're trying to identify those areas, and so these are attending a NICE meeting is a great way to give your feedback, saying, you know, this lot would be perfect for some open space, or, you know, that's the kind of feedback that would be great. So I'd really recommend residents get involved, because that's something we have funding dedicated in the budget for land acquisition, and we're identifing the best opportunities for the council.
Definitely should be on the lookout for the next NICE meetings, because that is a great place, because we see that this issue come up a lot on our social media platforms also. So that's a great place where citizens can give more feedback and say, hey, you might want to look at this piece of land.
Absolutely. We have a 10-year Parks and Recreation Master Plan that also has identified where there's gaps in our recreation and parks programs. So that is all being done
ties together.
Holistically. Absolutely. Quality education for all residents. You know, this is an interesting goal always, because the city, of course, is not in charge of the school system, but we partner with St. Lucie Public Schools. Our education is important to our residents and their well-being. So that is, we did see that some of our ratings for K-12 education has risen, but still below the national benchmark, as well as adult educational opportunities. So we're always partnering with our school system to see what we can do. Our school system has made tremendous strides in their grades, et cetera, and they gave a presentation to council just recently, a few weeks ago. So we have always asked what can we do to help? One of the things that they've mentioned is, additional Wi-Fi opportunities and mentors and volunteers, and so we're looking at those opportunities. Another way to get connected is attending a NICE meeting. We can start to give updates as well about we're adding little libraries to neighborhoods. We're trying to see what can we do in our unique city role to support the school system. We're partnering with the Children's Services Council to get the word out. I know your team is working on getting the word out about all the available programs, our career technical education programs that are growing in the school district.
There's a lot. They have a lot to talk about, and we're trying to help them through the city just help them spread the word about, because there are a lot of programs.
There are, and so I think that's a lot of what we focus on, is really increasing awareness, as well as this Wi-Fi master plan. We're including spots in area parks and improving our the fiber connectivity. So that's something that will be a big priority.
And that's huge. Has come to those surface in every city and government, I think, in the United States after the pandemic. Just how important it is to keep everyone connected. it's tough.
It's vital. It's Wi-Fi has become another utility for people.
It's a needed service. So
it is. So that's a Wi-Fi master plans in our strategic plan this year, and it came up at the Citizen Summit. Residents said provide more public Wi-Fi, and so that's what we're looking to do in this next year, and it's included in our draft budget. So
great.
Great. So we're also talking about is a diverse economy and employment opportunities. Our next
goal 4. We're halfway through.
Yes,
there's 7 goals.
There is, and this goal is really important to residents. Always one of the top issues that residents want us to 55% of residents rate economic development positively, which is similar to the national benchmark. Where we were a few years ago was much lower than the national benchmark. So we've made great strides, but we do see that residents want to see an increased focus on that. They want to see more economic development opportunities. We've heard in the Citizen Summit, help me start and grow small businesses. More assistance for job seekers. There's always a desire to see additional stores and restaurants, and so our strategic plan really reflects that focus and need of residents. We focus a lot on the sale and development of city-owned land in the tradition jobs corridor.
Yes.
We are creating through these partnerships opportunity. So there are companies moving in, thousands of jobs are coming to Southern Grove. For residents that may commute, we know a large percentage of our residents commute to Palm Beach County, et cetera. We really encourage you to look again at the local job opportunities because you may not have to commute.
No.
You can stay here.
In the past year alone, Southern Grove we've announced Cheney Brothers is building a distribution. Huge, Cheney Brothers.
Yeah.
FedEx, humongous. Lots of jobs coming down there. And FedEx, if you drive down there right now, those walls are going up.
Yes.
So
it's really exciting.
And I know we have a couple other exciting things on the horizon that we're not allowed to talk about yet, but there are more jobs.
Absolutely. So that's definitely a key focus of the City Council and the strategic plan, implementing a master plan that we developed for Southern Grove to make sure it grows the right way, fully leveraging our partnership with Cleveland Clinic. That is a huge opportunity for Cleveland Clinic, for our residents, having that location. And as well as constructing Hegner Drive, which is that road, the jobs corridor.
It cuts through the middle of the jobs corridor and helps connect these developable sites to make them developable so they can reach them. So
absolutely.
Hegner Drive is key to Southern Grove, yes.
Absolutely. And then on the east side, acquiring city center is in our strategic plan this year. That's been a key issue for the east side of the city, so we're really excited about that. When residents say they want to see more stores or restaurants or things, that all of those opportunities could be on the table as we discuss what city center will look like in the future. And a master plan for city center will be something residents can get involved in the next year.
And that's going to be big topic next year that citizens should watch out for.
Absolutely.
Getting feedback for what do we want City Center to be,
yes. And small businesses came up at the Citizen Summit, and we're really happy to see in our strategic plan and in our budget this year, implementing a small business program, including developing an office of business. So we're going to have more support and assistance for individuals. We know an interesting statistic coming out of the pandemic was the number of small businesses that began to be created. Residents people are rethinking nationally, what they want to do with what their work life looks like, and there's a lot. It's really exciting to see the number of businesses that are forming, and Port St. Lucie wants to make sure that our residents have that support. If they want to start a small business, there's lots of programs.
There are lots of programs, and even more to come out of that. They're already working on them. I've seen the plans, so it's exciting. Some of the things we're going to be announcing. Yeah,
absolutely. So we're moving on to goal 5.
Yes, goal 5.
All right.
This is a big one.
It's a huge goal. So high quality infrastructure and facilities. We heard this is our biggest area of opportunity, I would say, as a city. How we were formed, Port St. Lucie was built without sidewalks, without a downtown, without a lot of the traditional city amenities,
without water and sewer. Put in afterwards, So
we've had to, for lack of a better word, MacGyver everything. You've had to kind of retrofit and be innovative in terms of how do you add in these new layers of a city that normally are created in the onset. So the city has had that historic challenge and has overcome that challenge in really exciting ways and continues to overcome that. But we still have that rating. We are lower than the national benchmark in resident ratings for overall quality of our transportation system with auto and bicycle, foot, and bus, and it's among the top issues that the city is asked to focus on in the next 3 years. So we are accelerating construction of Port St. Lucie Boulevard South in partnership with FDOT.
Yes.
Huge priority.
Very exciting to a lot of residents.
And that's going to kick off this year, the next phase. So we're just so excited about that. Expediting traffic signal synchronization on PSL Boulevard South is a key priority. as well as designing and construct our public works administrative complex. Being able to respond in a storm
appropriately,
it will really help us to be able to deploy resources more effectively as well.
Yeah.
Implementing our multimodal plan, which our multimodal plan includes, how do we incorporate trails and better sidewalks and
trails are a big deal.
Improve
we'll see that
exactly. As you'll see the next goal.
Yeah.
Our speed on area roads. It's our multimodal plan is really like guides how we improve that mobility issue that was identified by residents.
It's looking at things holistically. Not just looking at the streets by themselves, but how you integrate, bike paths and how do you integrate sidewalks and all of that.
Absolutely. We're looking at designing the Village Green Corridor Revitalization Project. That's an east side
over by City Center
street, one of our streets that needs sidewalks, etc. So we're looking at that project, and also public transit enhancements. Port St. Lucie does not manage our transportation system; that's managed by St. Lucie County. But that is something that that we're always looking at ways to improve, and we've partnered on the micro transit project. We're looking at there's going to be a new intermodal facility, a transit facility on Oroso, right across from City Hall. So there's lots of good work for transit in the next year. In terms of improving water quality is another key priority for the City Council, and that is going to be addressed through the St. Lucie River and C23 Water Quality Project in McCarty Ranch, as well as implementing our septic to sewer master plan and our stormwater plan. So residents definitely said, they want to see our roadways improved, and water quality is always important as well. And so there's huge investments in our infrastructure in the next year.
All of those projects that you talk about, PSL Boulevard South, we have a whole page on our website dedicated to that where you can see the different phases and the timelines and all. So most of those projects have their own section on our website if people really want to find out more.
Absolutely, and you can always go to cityofpsl.com/strategic plan, which has really a lot of detail because I went through those very quickly, but I definitely know there's so much.
Website links that people can go to. We'll give them all at the end because this is, like I said, we're just hitting the highlights here.
Very much so, this is another area of opportunity was culture, nature, and fun activities. We thought 75% of residents actually rated that overall opportunities for education, culture, and the arts are very important for the city to focus on. So we've been seeing this in the data the last few years that people would like to see more cultural opportunities, more of public art. We've had a big focus on public art this year as well. So we are looking at finding ways to have those additional culture, nature, and fun activities, beginning with the Port and Pioneer Park. One of our key strategic initiatives, and offers so much in terms of culture, nature, and fun.
So if people don't know, the Port is the whole Riverwalk district. We used to call it Riverwalk. It's now the Port. It's the whole river frontage from the Botanical Gardens south of that all the way up. It goes all the way up to, I think, Lingate Park. So it's looking at that whole area together and all the fun things that we're going to be doing down there.
Absolutely, And residents told us they want to see more activities and amenities. They want to see additional nature and walking trails. We're building a nature and walking trail at the Port as well. And they want more boating, skate parks. So all of these things are being looked at through these offerings that we'll see. So you're going to see amazing opportunities come through that, as well as cultural opportunities. Implementing the public art master plan. We had an unveiling of some new sculptures recently this year. There's more to come. So that is there's going to be a City for All People mural completed this year as well at Minsky Gym. So there's lots of great public art that's going to be rolling out. Again, addressing those resident requests for additional art and cultural opportunities. We have a new exhibit from the Smithsonian coming to the Event Center this fall that we're so excited about. So it's going to be a great year for art, culture and arts, as well as expanding our cultural offerings and special events. If you have not seen the Mid-Florida Event Center's event calendar, it's incredible, the offerings that they've continued to expand upon. Our Parks and Recreation Department is expanding our special events and changing them up this year. So there's going to be a lot more opportunities, and that's directly in response to the feedback from residents. There's We Love Lucie concert series. It came out of the survey because people said we want live music, but not just live music. We want big names. Big name bands. We want nationally known acts. So check out her We Love Lucie concert series on the Mid-Florida Event Center page. And our residents made that happen. Foghat and Jody Messina, and I'm hoping, I can't list them all, but there's a lot coming. Absolutely, and that would not have happened without resident feedback. I mean, that was something that came from our residents saying we want more live music, so we found a way to make it happen through working for the Mid-Florida Event Center. So lots of great opportunities. A holiday, I know in a couple years, ice skating rink is talked about as well, like some really great ideas that are out out there that are forming right
Yeah.
now. We're looking at, as part of our 10-year Parks and Recreation Master Plan, we're implementing huge investments in our Parks and Recreation system.
Okay.
Regional parks like Torino Regional Park, Tradition Regional Park, as well as our Adventure Park. These will be amazing facilities. As our growth has increased on the western side of the city, we do know that we need to increase our parks. These have been in the plans for a while, and they're coming forward to fruition with the focus of the City Council.
We're getting closer, yeah.
Improving existing parks as well, like OL Peacock Senior Preserve. We're looking at some trail connections there as well. We're implementing a bikeway and trails priority corridors plans. We're looking at the Wilderness Trail, at other trail systems, trying to provide that, as that was a key gap that the residents have said they'd like to see. As well as I mentioned before, land acquisition for environmental lands and parkland, open space. So we're looking at that in conjunction with the Neighborhood Preserve program as well. And then our last goal
We're
is,
on our last goal.
yes. Continuing to be a high-performing government organization. And so we want to continue to make sure that we are one of the best cities in the country in terms of responding to resident feedback, like we do with our strategic plan, and that our residents really get the service they need. I mean, some of the feedback the residents have said is they've asked for lower taxes, and actually we've included reducing the millage rate for the 6th year in a row in this year's budget. Increasing communication, always, just as we communicate amazingly, we just always more. We want
one of the reasons we're doing the show.
Exactly.
Trying to just get the word out every way we can.
And providing more public input opportunities, which we have. And so we're going to continue to do those things. The Citizen Summit shared. So residents love coming to these things, and they said, let's just do this more. And so we're going to. So we try to weave that into everything we do. Can we send a survey to residents? When we design a trail, we do resident surveys and meetings. So every time. But that definitely we do say that customer service is rated at 79% of residents rated it positively, which is similar to the national benchmark. We're going to continue to focus on our organizational development, our training of our employees, working with the county on issues, improving our service process through innovation. Interesting fact here, we saw an increase in the number of 1PSL calls for drainage for blocked swales this year. And we used through our Innovation Academy, we analyzed all the location of where residents were calling from, and we found ideas, we developed some ideas to target hotspots and actually put additional funding from our budget to target these hotspot areas, which should reduce the number of issues for residents citywide. So we've really tried to keep the swales flowing.
Keep the water flowing through those swales.
As new development came in, then we noticed that there was some with the vacant lots coming in. It changed some of the dynamics. So we are trying to use data and resident feedback always to improve and innovate and make our processes more resident friendly.
And you mentioned one PSL. Here we go. Yes.
Absolutely. So we do that through one PSL, which it's one call to City Hall, and you can get services, and we try to route your issues quickly and resolve things for you. And we reduced the millage for the 5th year in a row last year, and there is a proposed millage decrease in this year's budget as well. So residents we're listening to that feedback from residents as well. So I gave you a ton of information. There's like you said, there's a detailed Citizen Summit report. If your feedback wasn't mentioned specifically, it was just because of the length of the time in the show.
Yeah, believe me, it's in there.
But we have that report. We also take all of the detailed comments. We give it to our project managers as they look at designing projects, so they look at all the feedback from you. So we try to incorporate your feedback every way we can. And then we have a new strategic plan dashboard launching in the next couple of weeks.
Very exciting.
Where you can track the progress of all of these items in real time. So we hope, again, that's another way to be transparent and accountable to our residents, that this is what we're listening. We want to do what we can to address your requests and make the city an even better place to live.
And we just want to thank our residents because without their participation in the surveys, and we do ask a lot of surveys, but usually it only takes a few minutes, and it's very important. We just really hope this show shows that you're not doing it, it's not a waste of your time. It is used, it is looked at, and it is analyzed. So we really want to keep that participation up and that engagement with our residents up as we go into next year. So this whole process starts over every year.
Every year.
So give us quickly the timeline. Is it December this year when the survey goes out?
Yes. So we'll be designing survey questions in November. It'll go out in late December, and we'll get the results back in early March, and that's when our council reconvenes. It looks at the survey results. So we'll have before that the Citizen Summit as well.
That's usually in February.
Usually in February. So we're setting those dates now. And
we're keeping our fingers crossed to be able to do an in-person event. But it's all about safety and keeping everyone safe. So the outdoor event worked for a lot of people. So maybe we'll analyze how to best do it for this next year.
Maybe we'll do a survey and ask residents how they'd like to do it.
Exactly.
So, no, but we're excited about just all the ways that resident feedback is. You're our intelligence system as a city. Our residents, you're the closest issue to the issue. So we need your feedback so we can become an even better city. Our city council highly values your feedback and really works to incorporate that and to move the city forward. And there's so many great things coming out of the ground that I think the residents will be really happy about this year.
Yeah, and we'll put on the screen all of the websites that they can go to. There's cityofpsl.com/survey, which has all the survey results. cityofpsl.com/citizen summit has all the summit results, and probably the most important is cityofpsl.com/strategic plan, which has a link to that really cool, easy to navigate, and really easy, intuitive dashboard of all of the stuff all of the projects that we're working on right now. So
That's right.
Thank you, Kate, so much.
Thank you, Sarah.
Appreciate it. I know it's a lot to go through, and we just wanted to hit the highlights, and I think you did a great job. So thank you so much for coming on and doing
Anytime.
this. And we'll post this video on our strategic plan page so people can watch it whenever they want.
Sounds great.
But I really thank you for coming on and wrapping this up. I think it's a great new way so important to report the results back.
Yeah.
And typically we just have it on the website, so this is just another way we're going to try to report it back and thank our citizens for participating every year. So
Well, thank you for being such a high-performing communications department. You're living our goals. Just how do we continue to improve and listen to our resident feedback. So
all right, well, thanks, Kate. We really appreciate it, and thank you for watching today. And like I said, the website is a great source of information if you really want to delve deeper into any of the projects that we talked about today. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.